are saying.
And Mike says we're still in for a pretty chilly week, but not nearly as bad as what we've seen. Welcome to the 5 a.m. hour of Good Day Chicago on this Monday morning. I'm Brian Jackson.
And I'm Gabriella Primus. Personally, I think that the weekend went by way too fast.
It always does.
But at least this week is going to be a little bit warmer. Right, Mike Kaplan?
It is. Less cold this week and maybe actually warmer next week. That's what I'm looking forward to. But we're going to find out, the real forecast in a little while. From Punxsutawney Phil.
That's true, yeah. The only guy we can really trust.
Exactly. We got to put our faith in whatever he says about the approach of spring. All right, in the short term, getting the kids to school this morning, there could be still a little bit of light precipitation around at 7 o'clock. Watch out for some icy spots, especially on sidewalks and in your own driveway. Main roads, I think, are going to be fine. Chilly and cloudy, 27 degrees at noon. Ride home, maybe a couple peaks of sunshine with that temperature in the upper 20s, about what we saw yesterday. Right now, low 20s. I'll take that compared with where we were last week. 23 at Midway, 22 at Woodstock. We have 23 now in Gary, Indiana, and also in Morris. Wind chills, cold, but not as bad. No sub-zero wind chills right now. Feels like it's mainly in the teens, a little bit colder. Chicago Heights and Valparaiso, wind chill of 11. Let's see if there are any slippery spots on the roads. Gabriella?
Mike, I want to talk about two incidents that are in our system. One is cleared, thankfully, but it was causing a lot of traffic even this early in the morning. Eastbound I-80-94, just over the state line in Indiana. It was a crash that was involving 3 cars and a semi-truck, and it was blocking 2 right lanes there for a while. That has finally cleared. Maybe a little bit of action still over on that right shoulder. But we're still talking about this westbound I-90 rollover. So over on the Jane Addams, it involves a semi-truck at Barrington Road. So again, westbound on I-90, and it's blocking all lanes. So all traffic is being diverted right now off of Barrington Road, and you can re-enter shortly after that. After the Barrington entrance. Actually, I think you go off the exit and literally go back right on the entrance to get around this. So hopefully it shouldn't impact traffic much for very long. I know crews are on scene trying to get this cleaned up, but your drive times, as you see, are looking okay.
Well, if you're flying and don't have your real ID, the new fee is now in effect.
And Roseanne is live at O'Hare with the latest. What are they thinking, Roseanne?
That's right. It actually went into effect yesterday. That is the truth. If you don't have a real ID or a passport, you can expect to pay $45 to the TSA to board your flight. Now, you can use the Confirm ID system, and this is a way that you can verify your identity using your name, address, and birth date online by going to tsa.gov. And you can do that at home before you even head to the airport. Or if you have a passport or military ID, the TSA also says travelers can add a digital ID with their passport information directly to their phone. Now, passengers certainly cannot say they weren't warned.
It has sped things up, especially, air transportation for myself. It's a little bit easier, I think. And I understand, why they're doing it, but I think they need to, fix things a little bit.
I can see how it can be a protection thing and identification thing, but realistically, I don't think it's the biggest deal, and I think people should look forward to getting new IDs.
So again, if you don't have that real ID yet and you get, for example, the Confirm ID, you pay the $45, it's only good for 10 days. So if your trip is longer than that, then you're going to have to buy 2. It's going to cost you $90 to travel. And if you're wondering how long we've been kicking this can down the road, this whole real ID concept, the first deadline was 2008. Back to you in the studio.
Long time coming, for sure.
I figured it was that long. Thank you, Roseanne. All right, switching gears now. The man charged in the death of a pregnant woman in Downers Grove is back in jail. 19-year-old Nidas Ravukis was hospitalized in critical condition after self-inflicted injuries while in jail. He's accused of stabbing 30-year-old Eliza Morales and setting her on fire. It stemmed from a sale on Facebook Marketplace. He faces first-degree murder charges, among other felonies.
A water main break in Dixmoor is impacting more than half of the community. The break happened on Sunday at 139th between Dixie Highway and Thornton Road. Village President Fitzgerald Roberts says the 8-inch water main is a major line. Just last week, another water main break in Dixmoor forced the closure of 2 schools.
The partial government shutdown will now run until at least tomorrow. House Speaker Mike Johnson plans to hold a vote tomorrow to reopen the government. The shutdown went into effect after lawmakers failed to pass a funding bill by Friday's midnight deadline. Democrats blocked passage unless changes are made in ICE enforcement.
We held our ground and made clear our demand. The Senate must separate the Homeland Security's bill out of the large appropriations bill and allow this chamber to make real changes to overhaul ICE and to end the violence.
We have to allow ICE to do its job. We have to allow Border Patrol to do its job, and we're going to make sure they have the funding to do that.
Democrats are calling for unmasking of ICE officers, also requiring them to carry identification and use body cameras. The presidential election is more than 2 years away, but Illinois is already making a push to have the first Democratic primary. The Democratic National Committee says they would hear pitches from 12 states that want to be first on the primary calendar. That includes Illinois. Usually the first primaries have been held in New Hampshire, Iowa, Nevada, and South Carolina.
Well, today marks 18 years since the shocking murders of 5 female store employees at a Tinley Park Lane Bryant store. A man posing as a delivery driver pulled out a gun, forced women into a back room, and then fatally shot them. The store employee who survived the shooting gave police a description of the killer. That case remains unsolved.
We are months away from the start of the WNBA season, but there is controversy off the court for the Chicago Sky. A minority owner is suing the principal owner, Michael Alter, accusing him of misrepresenting the value of the franchise for his own benefit. The lawsuit was filed in Cook County Circuit Court by minority owner Stephen Rogers, who was an early investor in the team. It alleges Alter seized a majority stake at an unfair price to boost his own shares at the expense of minority partner shares. The Chicago Sky posted a response from Alter's attorney on the website. It reads in part, quote, "The lawsuit is completely meritless. We look forward to defending our case through the appropriate legal channels and believe this matter will be disposed of quickly."
Today, the city of Harvey will be picking a new mayor following the death of Mayor Christopher Clark. Clark was elected in 2019 and then re-elected in 2023. His death was announced on Friday. Clark was said to have been battling an illness and was in and out of the hospital for the past 6 weeks. 6 alderpersons will choose someone to serve out the rest of his term, which is a little over 2 years. A special city council meeting will be at 6 tonight at Harvey City Hall. Well, today's Groundhog Day, and there's going to be plenty of celebrations all over the country.
I can't help but giggle, and none more than in famous Puxatawney, Pennsylvania. Phil is set to emerge at sunrise at Gobbler's Knob to make his famous prediction. Now, if he sees a shadow, it signals 6 more weeks of winter. If he does not see a shadow, it means an early spring.
We're also going to have our eyes here at home on Woodstock's very own Groundhog Willie. And we're making his annual prognostication around 7 o'clock this morning. We will be there live as he tells us whether we can get ready for more winter and early spring.
Did we ever decide, like, do they work together, you know? Or,
I think they're rivals.
they're rivals, okay.
I think that sounds better, right?
Oh, gotcha. All right, on to something more important, although Mike might know this answer. The NBA trade deadline is this week, and there's a lot of eyes on the Bulls and what they might do.
Yes, Mike has a look at maybe what are the Bulls thinking come the trade deadline this week.
You know, don't you just like in your gut feel like Karnisovas is going to do nothing or very
He always
little?
does nothing. So I think we'd be more surprised if they actually did something.
Yeah. Well, we're going to know in a couple of days. We could be in the final days for some of the key players on the Bulls. Kobe White, Nikola Vucevic, Naio DeSumo, they've all been talked about as possible trade bait. But first, the current Bulls. Oh, boy, this thing was ugly. They wrapped up their 3 games in a row against the Heat last night in Miami. The Heat dominated this one. They were up by 21 after the first 12 minutes. Well, they led by as much as 54. Bulls closed the gap to only 43 to lose, 134-91. Another big game and a big win for the Illini. They were in Lincoln, Nebraska, taking on the 5th-ranked Cornhuskers. The Illini did trail at halftime, but they get a big boost from their star freshman, Keaton Wagler. He scored 23 of his 28 points in the second half, leading the Illini to a big win over a ranked opponent, 78-69. LeBron James, he's still an all-star, extending his record streak of selections to the big game. James selected for the 22nd straight year. This year, he's just going to be a reserve. This is the first time in his career he hasn't been voted on as a starter. The only time he wasn't picked at all was back in his rookie season, 2004. Carlos Alcaraz, yeah, he got it done after losing the opening set. He made history at the Australian Open, becoming the youngest man to complete a career Grand Slam. He beat Novak Djokovic in 4 sets yesterday. Alcaraz, he's only 22. Djokovic was 29 and Rafael Nadal 24 when they completed the same career slam. Yeah, this guy's going to be good for a long time. Did you see this? A bizarre moment in the boxing ring between a couple of real heavyweights. Jarrell Big Baby Miller's toupee. What's going on with the lid? It's flying off. Yeah. Look at this here. Oh, eBay hits him with that uppercut and the hair goes flying. Miller actually ripped his hairpiece off, threw it to the crowd in the middle of the fight, to the crowd's delight. In the end, Miller actually won by a hair. All right, now on to the weather. I just had to use that line there. It's a split decision, but there you have it. There's some precipitation falling from that low cloud deck there, and a lot of this is just drizzle. But because temperatures are below freezing, it is freezing drizzle, and that means could be some icy spots, particularly on pavement that's not been treated. And this could be, in most cases, I think, in your own property. You know, the sidewalk may be slippery, your back porch, the driveway. Watch out for that. We have freezing drizzle coming down at O'Hare right now with 22. Not a lot of wind, so the wind chill tolerable from where we've been, 13. These are the current temperatures, low 20s across the board. Looks like LaSalle proves the hot spot with 25. 23 at DeKalb and Rockford and Chicago's Lakefront. 23 at Gary and Merrillville. Benton Harbor, Michigan City in there with 21. So the radar lit up with just light precipitation. See where it went to pink there? That's where it was kind of discovering some of that freezing drizzle. There have also been some spotty snow showers. I drove through a couple little patches where the snow was actually falling on my way into work this morning. Cloud cover is going to remain fairly resilient here most of the day. Maybe some breaks during the afternoon. Farther west you are, I think the higher chance you'll have of seeing a little bit of late day sunshine. Tonight, a couple of spotty snow showers. Not a big deal here. We're talking about maybe enough to recoat the ground. Quarter inch or so would be it. A lot of us are going to have a nothing burger out of this. Tomorrow, possibly a little bit of lake effect, but this is light. This is not like the lake effect that we had over the weekend. Not going to be anything that's going to prevent you from getting where you need to go. The rest of the day going into Wednesday, mixture of clouds and sun with temperatures running just a little bit colder than normal. I actually have 2 30-degree days in the 7-day forecast coming up.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Well, the partial government shutdown enters a 3rd day, but will there be an end to it this week?
Well, we're going to be getting an update from Washington with Fox News political analyst Doug Luzader when we come back.
The feet have a really big impact on
Now, Good Day Chicago, the man charged in the death of a pregnant woman in Downers Grove is back in jail. 19-year-old Natas Barukas was hospitalized in critical condition after self-inflicted injuries while in jail. He's accused of stabbing 30-year-old Eliza Morales and setting her on fire. It stemmed from a sale on Facebook Marketplace.
A water main break in Dixmoor is having an impact on more than half of the community. The break happened Sunday at 139th between Dixie Highway and Thornton Road. Just last week, another water main break in Dixmoor forced the closure of 2 schools.
Today, the city of Harvey will pick a new mayor after the death of Mayor Christopher Clark. Clark was elected in 2019 and re-elected in 2023. 6 alderpersons will choose someone to serve out the rest of his term, which is a little over 2 years. It looks like the partial government shutdown is going to last a little longer.
House Democrats are refusing to back the deal negotiated in the Senate last week to pass new spending bills. Republicans are left now scrambling. Our Doug Luzader joins us live from Washington this morning. So, Doug, where does the shutdown currently stand, and when can we expect the next vote?
Good morning. Well, you know, this initially looked like it was going to be just a brief shutdown over the weekend. Now it's looking like it's going to last a little bit longer. But you listen to House Speaker Mike Johnson, and he seems to think they'll wrap this up tomorrow, which means that, you know, that no one's really going to notice this shutdown if, in fact, that's the case. But there's still an open question as to whether they can still make this happen. First of all, you have to get lawmakers back here to Washington. Travel is better this week than it was last week, but still not easy. But assuming you get everyone back here, it's going to require just about every Republican on board here to overcome Democratic objections. Democrats in the Senate, Democratic leadership anyway, went along with this plan that was negotiated with the president. Democrats in the House, though, unlike their Democratic counterparts in the Senate, may not acquiesce here. And if that's the case, this could become more extended. We just don't know what the nose count's going to look like tomorrow.
You know, Doug, I know we touched on this last week, but what are Democrats calling for when it comes to changes with immigration enforcement?
Well, you know, different Democrats want different things, but they're looking for, you know, some want to completely abolish ICE. Some want to change the way that ICE operates. So it is something of a moving target here. But the way that this current negotiation has been working forward is that they would renew all government appropriations through the fiscal year September, but then renew Homeland Security funding, which covers ICE, just through 2 weeks from the point in which the bill actually passes. So that means we would be right back in this negotiation again pretty quickly.
All right. That is our Doug Luzader reporting live from Washington, D.C. this morning. Doug, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, 5:18 now. Tossing it over to Mike Kaplan. You know, guys, now I know why I woke up in such a good mood. It is because the Groundhog, the true professional, he's going to be let out of his cage to finally make the prediction for us.
Yeah, we've all been waiting for this. You know, we got to see. He's never wrong. He's never wrong. Always right. Do you remember what he said last year? Whether verified, I have no clue. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Do I?
I think I read he's right about 38% of the time.
That's enough for me. That is enough for me.
Oh, boy.
It's like
well,
his chunkiness.
We're going to know here, I think in a little over an hour, what Punxsutawney Phil says. And I think Woodstock Willie's coming out right around 7. We'll keep you posted with a live report on that. This is what I'm predicting for highs today. At a time of year when freezing is normal, we're not going to quite get there, but it's better than last week. We've got upper 20s on the way, and without a whole lot of sunshine, that's not doing too poorly. Out there right now, however, we do have some very light precipitation falling in many areas. Most of this is in the form of freezing drizzle. It barely shows up on radar. You can see this little light greenish color that is passing through the area, especially now city and south. All of this activity that you see here, this is always there. Those are wind farms that we can detect with radar. But there's some light precip. Again, most of this is freezing drizzle, and oftentimes that's like the most insidious precipitation precipitation type because it's not a big deal, but it can cause bigger problems, especially when you're walking. So, watch out on untreated surfaces this morning. There's a cold front sliding off to our east. There's no real punch of Arctic air behind it. It's kind of a reinforcement of the chilly air that's been in place. We do see a little bit of light snow, a couple snow showers coming through here late tonight into tomorrow. Not expecting any great shakes with that, maybe a quarter to a half-inch tops, and a lot of us will have 0. During the day tomorrow, there can be a couple of lake effect snow showers pointing into northwest Indiana. That, too, is not going to be a big deal. There will be another front that hits Wednesday and knocks temperatures back a little bit before we get to 30 for 2 days. 28 today, that's close. We'll see a little light mix this morning. Tonight, especially late, a couple of snow showers, not a lot. 16 degrees for the low, mostly cloudy skies. Still maybe a few peaks at that full moon. 28 tomorrow, chance of a snow shower tomorrow evening into Wednesday, possibly some lake effect. We'll have a high of only 25 Wednesday, and then 30 on Thursday, 32 on Friday, but Thursday night and Friday, a little bit of light snow possible ahead of a cool down for the weekend. But next week, all signs are pointing to a nice warm up here that should get us, I think, a few days into the 40s. Ooh, What do you think about that? Gabriella, what are the roads looking like?
I can handle that, Mike. Our roads are looking okay for the most part. Let's go over some drive times first before I start talking about a serious crash. 25 minutes on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. 25 minutes as well on the Eisenhower. Under that on the Stevenson from 355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and under 20 minutes on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Burn interchange. That crash, it involves multiple vehicles, and it actually involves a car, private ambulance, and a semi-truck if you want to get technical, and it rolled over. It's blocking all lanes on westbound I-90, so the Jane Addams at Barrington Road. So traffic is going to be forced off at, but it's also able to re-enter from Barrington Road. So luckily it's not a full closure. We're going to have to find a lot of detours. There's obviously crews that are telling you which way to go in this area. It's a slow go because folks are curious on both the westbound side and on the eastbound side as well. The eastbound side is unaffected. I'll keep you updated on this and much more. Brian.
Well, Father Michael Pfleger is given a special honor as a part of Black History Month.
And what the Justice Department is saying about the Epstein files after the latest release. We'll have all the details right after this break.
As we begin celebrating Black History Month, Chicago priest and civil rights activist Father Michael Pfleger is being honored for fighting on behalf of people of color. Father Pfleger was honored by the congregation at King of Kings Missionary Church. There was also a special unveiling of a sculpture of Father Pfleger created by Pastor Roy Yarber, who has spent the better part of his life creating works of art to honor those who inspire him.
A 5-year-old and his father, recently detained by ICE, are back home in Minnesota. Liam Ramos and his dad were released over the weekend from a family detention center in Texas following a judge's orders. Government officials say the father entered the U.S. illegally from Ecuador in 2024, but the family's attorney says he has a pending asylum claim, which allows him to stay here.
An official with the Justice Department is downplaying the possibility of additional criminal charges coming from the Epstein files. The Department of Justice released more than 3 million pages and thousands of videos and pictures of the files. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says all these emails and photos don't allow them to necessarily prosecute anyone.
I can assure that we complied with the statute, we complied with the act, and there is no, we did not protect President Trump, we didn't protect or not protect anybody. I mean, I think that there's a hunger or a thirst for information that I do not think will be satisfied by the review of these documents. And there's nothing I can do about that.
This evidence comes 1 month after a court-ordered deadline to go public.
526, we're finally feeling that warmer air come through Chicago.
You've set your standards low.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it?
Because the temperature's been so low.
It's really sad.
Yeah, look, we were talking about this last week. It seemed like January was about 87 days long.
It did.
We are, though, look, here's the deal. February, this is the last month of meteorological winter. So we've really only got, including today, 27 days left before meteorological spring starts on May the 1st. And as we've been saying all along, today, a big day in the weather world with Punxsutawney Phil and, of course, our own Woodstock Willie about to make their prognostications for the remainder of winter and arrival of spring. This morning, a little bit of wintry precipitation. Kind of hard to see here, but I'm going to draw a little line. Roughly, well, actually almost I-55 here and I-80. Southeast of that line, that's where we're still seeing a little bit of light frozen precipitation. Most of this is in the form of drizzle, which is really nasty because that can create a light glaze on your driveway, on the sidewalk, on your back porch. Watch out underfoot. I really think that for the most part, roads are going to be okay. Temperatures are below freezing by quite a bit, but they're better than they have been. 22 at O'Hare, Aurora, 22 at Merrillville, and also at Chicago Heights. Looking at the 7-day forecast, there's a little glimmer of hope even here for the next 7 days. Next week looks much milder to me, but we can get to 30 on Thursday, 32 on Friday. No big snowstorms in sight. Maybe a couple of snow showers tonight, tomorrow night, and again Thursday night into Friday, but not expecting anything big in terms of snowfall accumulations. Back to you both.
All right, stick around for more news, weather, and traffic this Monday morning. We'll be right back.
At Burger King.
Now, good day, Chicago. The man charged with the death of a pregnant woman in Downers Grove is back behind bars.
If you're flying, you're going to need your real ID or expect to pay a fine.
Today is Groundhog Day with festivities across the country, and we'll be monitoring, don't worry, our own Woodstock Groundhog Willie. Mike.
I am a fan of glaze on a donut, on some other pastry items. On roadways, because of freezing drizzle, not so fun. And that's what we've seen in a few spots. Little freezing drizzle still moving across the area, but we've got improving conditions on the way. Gabriella, what about the traffic?
I'm right there with you, Mike. Let's take a look at our drive times while I talk about this crash over on the Jane Addams on the westbound side. It involves multiple vehicles. A semi-truck is rolled over, and it's blocking all lanes on the westbound side of I-90 at Barrington Road. All traffic is forced off of, but can re-enter from Barrington Road. So that is the good news. Crews are on scene working hard on this. A little bit of stop and go because of a gapers delay on the eastbound side and, of course, on the westbound side as people figure out which way to go. But there are crews on scene. After years of delays, the Real ID deadline is actually really here.
Roseanne is at O'Hare this morning finding out just how many people are prepared for this change. Roseanne?
Yes, it actually started yesterday at the airport. So if you don't have a real ID or a valid passport, you may not be able to board the plane. I say may not because you can pay that $45 fee and go through the process called Confirm ID. So, and you can start this at home. You can use the Confirm ID system to verify your identity, your name, address, birth date. You can go online at tsa.gov and at least get that paperwork done before you head to the airport. Now, if you have a passport or military ID, the TSA also says travelers can add a digital ID with their passport information directly to their phone. Passengers certainly cannot say they weren't warned, but many people said they were more than prepared.
I actually got mine about a year and a half ago, so not nervous at all.
So you were in good shape.
I was, yeah.
And you?
Same thing. Got it at least a year and a half ago, so no concerns at all.
Do you have any concerns about the people in front of you holding up the line when they figure out they don't have it?
No, because it seems like they divert them somewhere else. So.
And I do now that you said that.
I'm such a party pooper. But the reason I say that is because you can get in the security line and wait in the security line. And when you get to the next point where they check your ID, that's where they're going to boot you out of the line to go fill out that Confirm ID process to get that process started. So, make sure you're prepared before you get in any line because nobody wants to wait 10 minutes to find out, oh, I don't have what I need. And once again, as I mentioned earlier, if you're wondering how long we've been kicking this can down the road, the first deadline for the Real ID was back in 2008. So it was probably time. Back to you in the studio.
Roseanne,
definitely time.
That's crazy.
It is.
Thank you so much. Okay, over to some more serious news. The man charged in the death of a pregnant woman in Downers Grove is back in jail. 19-year-old Nidas Revukis was hospitalized in critical condition after self-inflicted injuries while in jail. He's accused of stabbing 30-year-old Eliza Morales and setting her on fire. It stemmed from a sale on Facebook Marketplace. He faces first-degree murder charges, among other felonies.
A water main break in Dixmoor is having an impact on more than half of the community. The break happened Sunday at 139th between Dixie Highway and Thornton Road. Village President Fitzgerald Roberts says the 8-inch water main is a major line. Just last week, another water main break in Dixmoor forced the closure of 2 schools.
The partial government shutdown will now run until at least tomorrow. House Speaker Mike Johnson plans to hold a vote tomorrow to reopen the government. The shutdown went into effect after lawmakers failed to pass a funding bill by Friday's midnight deadline. Democrats blocked passage unless changes are made in ICE enforcement.
We held our ground and made clear our demand. The Senate must separate the Homeland Security's bill out of the large appropriations bill and allow this chamber to make real changes to overhaul ICE and to end the violence.
We have to allow ICE to do its job. We have to allow Border Patrol to do its job, and we're going to make sure they have the funding to do that.
Democrats are calling for unmasking of ICE officers, requiring they carry identification and use body cameras. As we know, the presidential election is more than 2 years away, but Illinois is already making a push to have the first Democratic primary. The Democratic National Committee says they would hear pitches from 12 states that want to be first on the primary calendar. That would include Illinois. Usually the first primaries have been held in New Hampshire, Iowa, Nevada, and South Carolina.
Today marks 18 years since the shocking murders of 5 female store employees at the Tinley Park Lane Bryant store. A man posing as a delivery driver pulled out a gun, forced the women into a back room, and then fatally shot them. A store employee who was shot and survived gave police a description of the killer, but so far that case remains unsolved.
We are months away from the start of the WNBA season, and there is controversy off the court for the Chicago Sky. A minority owner is suing the principal owner, Michael Alter, accusing him of misrepresenting the value of the franchise for his own benefit. The lawsuit was filed in Cook County Circuit Court by minority owner Stephen Rogers, who was an early investor in the team. It alleges Alter seized a majority stake at an unfair price to boost his own shares at the expense of minority partners' shares. The Chicago Sky posted a response from Alter's attorney on the website. It reads in part, quote, "The lawsuit is completely meritless. We look forward to defending our case through the appropriate legal channels and believe this matter will be disposed of quickly."
Time is now 5:37. Today, the city of Harvey will be picking a new mayor following the death of Mayor Christopher Clark. Clark was elected in 2019 and then re-elected in 2023. His death was announced on Friday. Clark was said to have been battling an illness and was in and out of the hospital for the last 6 weeks. 6 alderpersons would choose someone to serve out the rest of his term, which is a little over 2 years. Special city council meeting will be at 6 tonight at Harvey City Hall. Well, today's Groundhog Day, and there will be plenty of celebrations all over the country.
And none more famous than Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Here's a live look at the festivities already underway at Gobbler's Knob. Phil is set to emerge at sunrise to make his famous prediction. It looks like they're doing a pre-celebration firework display.
Very
If
early.
he sees a shadow, Brian, it signals 6 more weeks of winter, but if he does not see a shadow, it means an early spring.
Let's see what his rival has to say about that, because we'll be keeping an eye on Woodstock's very own Groundhog Willie. He'll be making his annual prognostication around 7 o'clock this morning. We're going to be there live for the big announcement. Mike, do you trust either of these two?
No.
See, Mike, but when you're that
No.
fluffy, when you're that fluffy, when you're that cute, it means something, okay?
It does. It does. You know, if nothing else, gives us something to talk about throughout the day today. It's going to be the lead story on most of our newscasts. Woodstock Willie did not see.
What are people betting on them? Because people are betting on everything this year. So
Of
I'm
course,
sure,
of course. What's the over-under on that? You know, here's the deal. A lot of people think, and, you know, Gabriella was right when she was talking about the story. A lot of people think, okay, if he sees the shadow, that means the sun is out. That must mean that spring is just around the corner. It's the opposite. If he doesn't see, as we announced there, so we want him to not see the shadow, because that would mean that spring is just around the corner. Well, on this day, nothing very spring-like, but it's less wintry than it was last week. Temperatures will be in the upper 20s for highs, about a 5 or 6 degree bump from where we are right now, with a couple peaks of afternoon sun. Early this morning, we still have some of that pesky, light freezing drizzle out there, including at O'Hare, 22 degrees there. We have a west-southwest wind at 7, so the wind chill, 13 degrees above zero. That's an improvement from last week. We got 25 at Joliet. That's one of the warm spots. Look at LaSalle, Peru, 27 there. That's not too shabby. 23 at Midway and also Gary. 21 now in Valparaiso. You'll still see a little bit of light precipitation, even though our model isn't showing it here. We still have some freezing drizzle for the most part. There's hardly any snow left. This will take a couple more hours to scoot on out of here. Later tonight, after maybe a brief clearing period late in the afternoon, we get these spotty snow showers. Not a big deal, maybe a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch tops. And there may also be a little bit of lake effect snow, light stuff targeting northwest Indiana during the day tomorrow. But we're not talking about multiple inches of snow out of this, just kind of more nuisance stuff coming down. During the day Wednesday, we'll be behind a cold front, and temperatures will take a little bit of a downturn. Today, 28, still colder than normal, but better than we have been. Watch out for a couple of slippery spots this morning. Tonight, down to 16 with a couple of light snow showers, especially after about 10, 11 o'clock. 28 tomorrow. Few spotty snow showers tomorrow night into Wednesday. High of only 25 Wednesday. Then a couple of days of 30, maybe a freezing temperature on Friday with a few light snow showers. Then a weekend cool down before next week's bigger warm up. 5:41. Take a quick break here. We'll be right back.
I shall now...
As we begin celebrating Black History Month, Chicago priest and civil rights activist Father Michael Pfleger is being honored for fighting on behalf of people of color. Father Pfleger was honored by the congregation at King of Kings Missionary Church. There was also a special unveiling of a sculpture of Father Pfleger created by Pastor Roy Yarber, who spent the better part of his life creating works of art to honor those who inspire him.
Love is no color. Love is our Father. And what perfect timing to have him here, the ones that stands on the grounds and fight for decency and honor. So whether he's a white man, red man, yellow man, he's the right man.
Black History Month, there's a white guy, being honored him, so it's very uncomfortable, but also really it's a blessing, it's a blessing to have folks say, we appreciate what you do.
Father Pfleger's commitment is driven by a belief that there is no history richer or more powerful than Black history, vital to be passed down from generation to generation.
A 5-year-old and his father, recently detained by ICE, are back home in Minnesota. Liam Ramos and his dad were released over the weekend from a family detention center in Texas following a judge's orders. Government officials say the father entered the U.S. illegally from Ecuador in 2024, but their family's attorney says he has a pending asylum claim which allows him to stay here.
The man is now facing charges accused of shooting a sheriff's deputy during a traffic stop in Peoria. Police say that Larry Bell was riding in a vehicle that was pulled over just before 10 o'clock Saturday night. They say his deputies approached the vehicle. Bell got out and ran off. As Bell was chased, he opened fire, hitting a deputy multiple times. The deputy was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Police eventually found Bell inside of an abandoned building. He's now facing several charges, including attempted murder.
A new warning from Iran's supreme leader. He says any attack by the United States would spark a regional war. The warning comes after President Trump threatened to strike Iran over its deadly crackdown on nationwide protests. The protests resulted in unrest that's killed thousands of people. The president also warned the U.S. could take military action if Tehran does not agree to negotiate a nuclear deal.
A Democrat has flipped what has largely been considered a reliably red district in Texas. Democrat Taylor Ramett won the Fort Worth area district seat during the special election. He's a labor union leader and veteran. Just before the election, President Trump praised Republican contender Lee Juan Gomez, a conservative activist and entrepreneur. This is a district that Trump won by 17 points in 2024. Time is 5:46 this Monday morning. Stick around. We've got more news, weather, and traffic still to come on Good Day.
Sponsored by Four Seasons, your trusted local.
Now in Good Day Chicago, the man charged with the death of a pregnant woman in Downers Grove is back in jail. 19-year-old Nitas Bavukis was hospitalized in critical condition after self-inflicted injuries while in jail. He's accused of stabbing 30-year-old Eliza Morales and setting her on fire. It stemmed from a sale on Facebook Marketplace.
A water main break in Dixmoor is having an impact on more than half of that community. The break happened Sunday at 139th between Dixie Highway and Thornton Road. Just last week, another water main break in Dixmoor forced the closure of 2 schools.
Today, the city of Harvey will pick a new mayor after the death of Mayor Christopher Clark. Clark was elected in 2019 and re-elected in 2023. 6 older persons will choose someone to serve out the rest of his term, which is a little over 2 years. Music superstars took center stage at the Grammy Awards Sunday in Los Angeles.
We've got a recap of some of the biggest moments from last night's show. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has more.
Puerto Rico.
Bad Bunny made Grammys history with Debí Tirar Más Fotos, becoming the first Spanish language album to take the category.
I'm going to say Eyes Out.
Earlier, when he won Best Música Urbana Album, he immediately spoke out against ICE. Next week, he performs the Super Bowl halftime show. The packed performance lineup started with Rosé and Bruno Mars. Among others taking the stage, Best Pop Vocal Album winner Lady Gaga, Best New Artist Olivia Dean, Sabrina Carpenter, Justin Bieber, and many more.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Song of the Year went to Billie Eilish for Wildflower. She was one of the attendees wearing Ice Out pins.
Welcome, everybody, to music's biggest night.
Host Trevor Noah emceed for a sixth and final time. He had a few political jabs, including calling out Nicki Minaj.
She is still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing very important issues.
You were a candle in the dark. Reba McEntire, Brandy Clark, and Lucas Nelson started the In Memoriam. Rock stars including Slash and Post Malone paid tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. Miss Lauryn Hill joined a tribute to D'Angelo and Roberta Flack. The Dr. Dre Impact Award went to Pharrell Williams. Cher received a Lifetime Achievement Award, left the stage, then was brought back to announce Record of the Year, Luther by Kendrick Lamar with SZA. Earlier, winning Best Rap Album for GNX made Kendrick the most awarded rapper in Grammy's history.
This is how I kind of know we're getting closer to spring. Mayor Brandon Johnson and the Department of Streets and Sanitation are announcing the finalists for the city's annual Name a Snowplow contest. Now, some of the 25 finalists include Blizzard of Oz, Caleb Chilliams, Derek Froese, Chance the Scraper, and Monty the Piping Plower. You can vote for up to 6 names by Valentine's Day. That's February 14th, so it's not too late, at chicagoshovels.org.
I like the chicagoshovels.org. That was a nice touch at the end of there.
Yeah.
I think I'm going Caleb Chilliams, though, Mike.
I like it, too.
That one and Derek Froese, they're my 2 favorites on that 5 list that we have there. They're timely. Yes. You know, that's good stuff. The Blizzard of Oz, because Wizard of Oz does have a Chicago connection.
It does.
It's true, yeah.
It fits right in.
I'm okay with all of those.
Yeah, they're all good. We have just a little freezing drizzle coming down out there right now. Not sure that the plows are going to be actually plowing anything, but hopefully they're out there laying down a little bit of additional salt to melt whatever comes down. We have freezing drizzle at O'Hare, 22 there. West-southwest winds are blowing at 7 miles an hour. Wind chill's 13 degrees, but it's above the zero instead of those sub-zero wind chills, which were so numerous the past couple of weeks. 27 at LaSalle, Peru. That's not that bad. 25 at Joliet. 22 at Woodstock, Waukegan, 23 at DeKalb, Gary, Michigan City, and also in Merrillville and Rensselaer. Pretty popular. But this is what I want to show you. For the past couple of weeks, the warmer than normal air has been camped out there, kind of Rockies points west. We've been locked in a colder than normal weather pattern. It's February 10th through 16th. More or less a week from tomorrow and beyond, we are now favored to be warmer than normal. That's next week. This week's still colder than normal, but not as cold as it was. 28 today, a little bit of light precipitation this morning. Not a big deal, but watch out for slippery spots, especially on untreated sidewalks, your driveway. 16 tonight, could be some scattered very light snow showers around late. No big accumulation. Maybe some snow showers again tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. There may also be a little bit of light lake effect snow for you in Indiana. We'll back it off to 25 Wednesday, then up to 30 Thursday, 32 Friday with some light snow. No big accumulation. Yes, it's colder over the weekend, but tolerably so. And after that is when we get into the warmer air. Let's see what Phil and Willie have to say from our Groundhog connection later. We've got some photos to share with you, including this beautiful shot from Greg O'Neill. And when the moon hits Indiana, that's where he took that picture. That's Amore. We have the full moon. Technically, it happened yesterday evening, but it'll be just as full really tonight. And it's called the snow moon in February. That's the nickname. Photo number 2. This one's from Glenn Cowpert. That is a European goldfinch. Now, this is a bird that, as its name implies, typically found in Europe. But over recent years, this bird has made it into the Illinois area. And I've seen them in my yard a couple of times. And Glenn caught this one, I assume, around Arlington Heights. If you see a bird that is about the size of a goldfinch or a sparrow, has that kind of distinctive, it's got red, yellow, and black on it, may very well be the European goldfinch. And let's see, another picture. How about this? Wow, Mary Lou Hamilton. That is a frosty scene there. Not sure where that picture came from, but those trees picked up a little. We call that hoarfrost, H-O-A-R. It is a type of frost that occurs on typically clear, calm nights, and it really created a lovely flocking there on that tree. All right, thank you for your pictures, everybody. That's the bean. A little bit damp out there, but we will be drying out later today. We've got more weather, sports, traffic news coming up for you after this.
Welcome back. Here's the latest on Good Day Chicago just before 6 a.m.
Well, for the first time in nearly 2 years, the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt has officially reopened for limited pedestrian